for being here. I'm going to do it in English because Steve next to me doesn't speak Dutch. Thanks for nominating us. Happy to be here. When we set out this summer to think of Champions League activation, we had a couple of things in front of us. We know that 70 to 80% of the people actually watching Champions League are sitting home alone. We also know that more than half of them use second screening while enjoying this match. What we obviously would like to be is part of that conversation during a competition which actually lasts from September to December and from February to May. So we asked our friends over in Amstelveen at Tribal, so what do we then do?
Thank you. So taking these insights from Heineken, we came up with the idea of Share the Sofa. And what we wanted to do was, we thought, what if we can take people's second screen and during the game and turn that into a football idol, so that it feels like they're literally sharing the sofa and watching the game together. And so we thought, well, how can we execute this? Well, why don't we utilize social platforms like Twitter, because we wanted people to have a direct interaction with the player during the game. They could do that via hashtag #ShareTheSofa using Twitter, and they could ask them anything they wanted about the game, anything that was happening on the pitch, or if they just wanted to ask them a question they've always wanted to ask their football idol, they could do that as well. The other thing we noticed was that when you're sitting next to these guys watching the game, they tend to have really good insights. They're quite quick and they're hard to capture in just a tweet as well. So what we thought was, well, why don't we visualize these and attach them to the tweet and sort of bring that to life in a Heineken kind of way. So what we had was a live set around the player, and whenever the player said something, the brief would go from the copywriter to a director and then would create a small scene in real time. So for example, we had a band standing by, and when the player had something to say about the tempo of the game, for example, in this example, perhaps the game was happening really fast. So a very short, quick piece of footage that sort of brings that to life in a visual way. Perhaps we wanted to show who was winning in the game. The player said, I think Real Madrid's got this show wrapped up. So we had two girls standing by, we could light up one of them and show that visually as well. Perhaps then he said something like, I think Real Madrid are dancing circles around Schalke 04, and then we could show that too. So the characters that we're using are part of the Heineken world. It's part of the world, the global brand that they put out. So over one 90-minute game, we're able to generate over 200 answered questions in 90 minutes, and also 45 vines over a game. And yeah, I guess the style that we wanted to create all of our content, Heineken isn't a sports brand, so it didn't make sense to create things visually that were going to be, heat maps and statistics. Heineken needs to be a little bit more fun. They want to make watching the football more fun. So, taking their brand, they exist all around the world in interesting places, surrounded by interesting people. And so these are the people that we use to create all of our content and bring that to life. We think it's really successful. I mean, not only because we have these famous footballers, obviously that's a great draw into the campaign, but also we think we understand how people want to engage in social media during the football. They want to watch the game. They don't want ads directed at them all the time. And I think we're respectful for that, because you can ask a question whenever you want, put your phone down, go back to the game. When you get a response to that question, you get a notification. Likewise, if you have a boring moment and you want to see what the player's thinking about the game, you can tap into our content. It doesn't require 90 minutes of engagement. It's not a story with a start, a middle, and an end. Thank you. We have some results.
Yeah, so far it's going actually quite well. We're able to capture a reach on Twitter of 100 million impressions during 19 minutes. So it's not over days, and this is per match. So next week we're sitting down with Ruud van Nistelrooy watching the Real Madrid game. So you're more than happy to tweet in. Next to this, amongst our fellow Champions League sponsors, we kind of are dominating the Twitter sphere. So the people like Adidas, Gazprom, and MasterCard are, as you can see, kind of nowhere to be seen. And what the nice thing about this is, this isn't just Spain or the UK activating this. We have big markets from the US to Argentina to Indonesia and South Africa, all the way up to Nigeria, all tweeting in and activating this. So this is going to 94 countries per match, every match week, for 50 match weeks.
Dank jullie wel. Jury.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks a lot for the case. I would like to know, on the last slide you had purchase intent up by 7%. I really am very curious, how do you measure that on the basis of the campaign?
Yeah, so together with Starcom, we did qualitative research also on the banner advertising and all the Twitter activities we did. And we obviously ranked it on our brand metrics. And one of them is purchase intent. And that was a nice dial we saw going up. And that's actually, in the end, obviously, one of the key things why you want to do such a thing.
Very nice case, congratulations.
Thank you.
Isn't this normally, or like in large sports events, what normally a TV station would do, create entertainment, live entertainment before, during, after an event like this? Are you guys hijacking this momentum in a way, but instead of programming it in a linear way together with the broadcast, the traditional broadcast of the football, you do it on a second screen? Is it a deliberate strategy to bypass media? Is this making your company into a media company?
No, no, not. The thing is, what no broadcaster is doing is actually giving you the chance to sit next to a legend virtually, whether it's Hernan Crespo or Fernando Morientes, for 90 minutes on a sofa. And that's the one thing we offer. You know, we're all about enjoyment of the game. We're the main sponsor of the thing, and we see it as our role also to make watching the game even more enjoyable. And we have the TV commercials around it and the bumpers, but I mean, actually making the game more enjoyable together with maybe having a beer and interacting with a player, that's something no one else does.
But this could have been a product, a show by a TV or media brand where you would be the advertiser, but now you are the media brand and the advertiser.
Well, that's why we're the sponsor, right? It's kind of a potato-potato kind of question, I would say. Thank you.
Great case, thanks for the presentation. Is this going to be something only for this season, or are you planning on doing it on the upcoming years as well?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball myself. So far it's going very well. And after the finals in May, we're going to basically do a wrap-up and also see what we're going to be doing per September. So yeah, just stay tuned, and yeah, hopefully you'll join in the coming matches as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Really nice case. The thing I wanted, the second screen inside, or interacting via social media with brands or brand representatives like you did, has been done before. How do you do things differently with social media than other cases that have used the same insight or the interaction through social media?
I think by creating the close relationship between you and the player, I think social media has allowed us to create that connection that you can't get in TV broadcasts as well. And I think, yeah, I think it's just about that close connection between the player and the fan at home. And I think just finding a different way of using the second screen more as a portal rather than a device to see extra content. It's a portal between you and the player.
One more question about the spontaneity of the actions, because you have the band playing and you have, you know, it looks pretty much as if it is sort of pre-packed or pre-canned, because you cannot be ready to portray every single situation.
Yep.
So yeah, how natural, how spontaneous?
So we have a day of rehearsal before the actual event, so we can tell all the acts how to expect the questions. We have test questions. The band, for example, we ask them to have 7 tempos to stand by and use those as platforms, and then we build up on those. So in some cases, you know, Man City is putting the fear into Barcelona. Then we go, okay, play tempo 4, but then the saxophone player is going to run in and scare the band. And so we use we have a few foundations, and then we use the creative brief to build on that.
But
Yeah.
everything is real time, and that's just to stress, everything happens the moment 45 minutes before the match. The player walks in. That's where the circus starts. Then the match starts. The Q&A goes nuts. Halftime, another 45 minutes. Then the game's done. He signs some balls. We give out as prizes and everything, and he goes home. And he goes home to his wife and says, "Well, I just had a really fun evening. I just watched the game on the sofa."
But actually, it's a really fun experience for the player to sit there and almost, go, okay, the game is slow. Then they're hearing a band playing slow music. They're like, oh, this is really cool. And it's a really good event, and I think people that are engaging with it feel that as well.
Thank you very much.